What's up, y'all? Ron Medlin here. My goal with this video is to give you the most comprehensive tutorial for GoHighLevel communities on YouTube. I'm filming this video February 21st, 2025, so we're going to review all of the brand new features that HighLevel just came out with. I'm also going to walk you step by step through how to set up your community, and I'm going to give you some resources and AI tools so you can get it done by the end of this video. And the framework that we're going to be using to set up your community is the exact same one that I followed to generate over $1 million in the past 3.5 years. I've also won first place in the Skool games for affiliates, and I'm now a top 5% earner on Skool. And then finally, once we get your community set up, I'm also going to show you how to use some of the other tools like Social Planner and workflow automations to make running your community a lot more efficient and easier. All right, so here's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. So first of all, we're going to talk about how to customize your client portal and how the client portal relates to your community. We're also going to talk about some brand new features that GHL just released that really give it a leg up on Skool, and you're going to love these features, so stick around for that. We're also going to talk about how to set up your community from A to Z, literally every single step that you need to take to get your community set up as quickly as possible. Then we're actually going to talk about how to use the social planner to schedule your posts. You don't have to do this manually anymore, and this is going to save you tons of time. Also another feature that really gives it a leg up on Skool. And then finally, we're going to talk about all of the current community workflow automations that are available inside of GoHighLevel. Before we get into the community stuff, we need to talk about the client portal. So first of all, where do you find the client portal? If you scroll down on the left-hand sidebar here and you go to memberships, the first tab here is going to be your client portal. And it's really the key to managing your community because this is what your clients are going to log into to access your community. So let's read what HighLevel says about the client portal. So it's a protected online gateway for client interactions. It's a place where your clients have the ability to log in at any time to access their courses, their communities, and oversee affiliate payouts. So basically, it's a hub that consolidates everything in one space for your clients and customers. They can access all the communities they've joined through you, all the courses they've purchased or have access to. They can track their affiliate activity, their payouts, their subscriptions. So that explains what it is. Now let's look at the little different drop downs and we'll go through each one of these. The first is the dashboard, which we're on right now. And then we have settings and branded mobile app. We'll go through each one of those individually. So here you can actually see the URL to your client portal. When you first log in and you haven't customized this, it's going to be this long, ugly URL, but I'll show you in a second how we're going to customize that in just a moment. And that will be the core base URL for your communities, your courses, and all those things. So you can also see how many contacts you've invited, how many users have access to your client portal. All right, so let's talk about the 3 actions we have here. The first one is generate a magic link. So this is a unique URL that verifies a user's identity without requiring a password. So it makes logging into your client portal a whole lot easier and a whole lot less of a hassle. So one of the biggest problems with GHL communities in the past was they made it super confusing to get logged into a community, especially if your users are members of a bunch of other communities, because they'll see a bunch of different client portals and it's just kind of confusing. So this generate the magic link is going to help with that a whole lot. So it's going to make it a lot easier for people to get logged into your community. And if I click on this generate magic link, I have 2 options here. I can either generate a magic link for one of my specified contacts here, and then I have the option to email those people. Or I can actually click on custom menu link and I can select which of the apps I want to send people to. And then this is going to generate let me just do this real quick. It's going to generate a custom menu link, so I can grab this URL and I can put it in the sidebar of my agency account, in the agency side of HighLevel, and then I can create a menu item using this particular link here. So that's pretty cool. Next, I can invite to the client portal. So to do that, I would just click invite. I would drop the email and the name of the person in here and then send invite. And then finally, the last one is send their login details. So if somebody already has a login, you can send their login details here. So that's the dashboard. All right, so now let's look at the other 2 options underneath the client portal dropdown. We've got settings. So this is basically where you can actually come in, you can change and customize the settings for your client portal and communities. We'll get in more in depth in each one of these in just a second. And then if we click again and we go to branded mobile app. So for $79 a month, you can actually build your very own branded mobile app that goes into the iOS and Android app stores. And this is totally separate from GHL's Collab or Lead Connector app, and it's specifically branded to your business. All right, so now let's actually go back to settings and let's dig into each one of these settings individually. All right, so the first setting we're going to look at here is the domain setup. So if I go back to the client portal dashboard, you'll see that our client portal URL is this long, ugly URL. And because of that, our URL for our community is going to be that same long, ugly URL. So we want to actually change that. We want to customize the domain so it's branded to our business. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to go back to client portal settings and I'm going to go to domain setup. And we have two different options here. We can either edit the subdomain of the default URL that GHL gives us, which is app.client.club.net, which you can see here. That's what that's going to look like. And so maybe we'd come in here and we would name that community, and then I would update it. And well, let's just say Ron community, since that's already taken. And now once I make that change, that would change this to Ron community app.clientclub.net. Okay, so that's okay. But a better option would be to create a fully customized domain on our domain. So to do that, I'm going to type in, let me go in here, and this is going to be in the custom domain field. I'm going to do community.gohighticketnow.com, and that is my domain. So I'm going to click add domain. And then what we're going to do is we are going to add a CNAME record to our hosting account. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, all hosting accounts are a little bit different. I host my URLs, my domains on Squarespace. So I'm going to click on my domain here, GoHighTicketNow.com. I'm going to go to the DNS record. And then what I'm going to do is scroll down here and I'm going to click add record. And then the host is going to be the host that we're going to grab from the information that HighLevel gives us. So I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to paste in the host here. The type of record is going to be a CNAME record. And then I try to make this TTL as short a time period as possible. And then if I go back to GroupFuel, I can grab the required value. So I'm going to copy that. Now, every hosting account will name this as something a little bit different. Most of them say value, but for some reason, Squarespace says alias data. So I'm just going to paste that in. I'm going to click save. And then that's all you have to do to set up your custom domain for your client portal. Now, if I go back and I verify records, this might take a little second. So I'm going to pause the video while this verifies. All right, so now our custom domain is now verified. Now if I go back to the client portal and I go to dashboard, you'll see that we now have a much prettier branded URL. And eventually, it'll take a little bit of time, but this will update to be community.gohighticketnow.com, which is a much prettier link, and now it's branded to your business. Okay, so that is domain setup. Now let's look at the next setting, which is app permissions. This is basically where you can toggle on the different apps that are going to show up inside of your client portal. We can also set the default landing page that people are going to land on when they log into the client portal. So let me show you what this looks like from a user's perspective. Right now we have all the apps turned on and our default landing page is going to be communities. So if I open up a incognito window and I log in, the first page that we're going to land on is going to be our community. Okay, so that's the default landing page. And if I go to the client portal itself by clicking this home button, that's going to show us that we have all the apps turned on and they are accessible in the client portal. Now, let me close this client portal out, this incognito window out, and let me make some changes. So I'm going to toggle off the courses, the affiliates, the billing and subscription, and the contracts. And I'm going to change the default landing page to home, and I'm going to save the settings. And now let me open up another incognito window here. And when we log in, we should land on, because we made the change, we should land directly onto the client portal, which we did. And you can see the only app that's now available is the communities. And so that's taken a little bit of time to load, but that's basically what the client portal now is, that we toggled on off all of those different apps. So let me go back. And I'm just going to, for myself, I'm going to keep on communities, and then I'm going to make the default landing page the communities, because that's all we're focused on for our business, is driving people into the community. Now let's head back to the settings and let's go to the next setting, which is branding. This is where you're going to actually customize both the login to your client portal and then also the client portal itself. Okay, so basically we've got these different items that we can edit. The portal name, so this is going to be on your login screen, portal description, login screen. These are going to be the colors to the buttons and also to this side panel here if you want it to be a color and not an image, okay? Now, if you wanted it to be an image, the favicon is going to be the little icon that shows up in the user's browser when they go to that page. The portal image is if you wanted to add an image to this section over here instead of a color, you would add the image there. And then the logo, that is going to be in the actual portal itself. So if I go back to the portal, this is where the logo is going to show up. All right. And then the support email and copyright, that's also going to be on the login screen. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you can add custom JavaScript and custom CSS. I'm not going to be messing around with the tracking code because we're more concerned with driving people in the community. So that's what we're going to be tracking. So that is essentially how you're going to edit and customize the branding of the client portal. Let's head back over to the settings and let's go to our last settings there, which is email settings. All right, so email settings is where we're going to get a list of categories and types of emails that we can send to our users and admins. We've got group invitation emails. We've got group membership status emails, which are going to update them on the status of their group request. General group emails, it's going to notify them of comments and likes. We've got learning course emails, which is basically updating them on new courses that are inside of the community, subscription and payment status emails based on your paid communities, and then role changes inside the community. Now, each one of these different email types is going to have a default template, and you can come in here and you can take a look at the default template that the user is going to receive in their inbox. If you wanted to change that, you could go to marketing and then the email campaigns and create another template and apply it here. But I would probably just leave these default as is. And you can, if you want, you can change them. And then I'd probably also leave all of these checked on. And then as you get more information, as people complain or whatever the case may be, you can turn these off as needed. So that is email settings. All right, so now let's get started setting up your GHL community. To help with that and make it a lot faster, I've actually created a GHL community setup guide. And then also you can use our AI tools that you'll have access to. I'll drop a link in the description for both of these resources to help you create all the content you're going to need to fill in this document. All right, so that'll help you to go a lot faster with this. My suggestion is to go through this document, fill it out completely with the help of the AI tools, and that's going to streamline and organize the process. You'll have a working document that you can tweak and edit, and then once you have everything the way you want it, you can transfer it over to the community. So that's actually what I've done for myself. It took me about 10 minutes to do this with the help of the AI tools. And now I'm ready to start building out my community now that I have this document. So let's actually jump in, go through the document and walk through setting up your community. All right, so just so you know what I'm doing, I'm gonna have this document on a different screen, and then I'm gonna have GoHighLevel open in a separate screen, and we're gonna start setting things up. So I'm gonna move this over to another screen. And then the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to memberships. We're going to go to communities and groups, and we're going to create our first group. Okay. So I'm going to create the community. And then this is where I'll start to fill in the information for my community, and I'll transfer it over for my document. Okay. So I'm going to grab the group name for my document. I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to do the group URL. So I'm just going to do community builders. I think that's a great URL for us. And then I'm going to grab my description from my document. Copy that, paste it in. I like to have a really strong hook for this group description. So if ever High Level does like Skool does and they create a profile and you can see your communities there, if people are checking out your profile from other communities, you want a really strong hook for that community so they can come check it out and maybe join the community, okay? I'm going to toggle on discovery because I do want this community to show up in the discovery because that'll bring extra traffic to our communities. Now, ahead of time, again, I went and got my favicon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that here and I'm going to click that. We actually have a template for your favicon in the setup document. So I'm going to grab that, add it here. The cover image, we also have a template for the cover image. So I'm going to grab that and paste that in here or upload that here. And then finally, we're going to add the logo. Okay, so we've got my logo and then we're going to hit create group. And now we actually have created our group. Now let's actually start setting this thing up. All right, so once you've created your community, you're gonna want to go back into high level, go to memberships, communities, groups, and then you're gonna click the login button underneath the new community that you created. That's gonna take you to a screen to set up your password as an admin. And then it's gonna take you to this screen where you can actually set up your profile. So we want to get a good looking picture of ourselves. So I'm gonna click this little button here. And then I'm gonna grab a picture of myself, good background to make it pop in the feed. And then also I want to put a good bio here because again, if high level makes it where you have a profile in GoCollab, which is the app where you can discover people's communities, and there'll be multiple communities that you can kind of switch between. If you are active in other people's communities, then people are going to go and check out your profile, and you want to have a really good hook in there, and you want to be able to promote your free community. And then again, you should have a list of your communities there that also have a good hook, like we talked about earlier. So I'm going to set up a really nice profile. I'm going to click complete. The next thing that we want to do is we want to add channels to your community. Basically how you're going to categorize the posts that are being published in your community so that your members can find the content that they're interested in. All right, so the first one that we add is announcements. This comes default with high level communities anyway. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start adding a couple of channels just so you can see how this works. And then I'll pause the video, I add the rest of the channels, and then we'll go through each individual channel one by one, and I'll show you exactly or tell you exactly why we create each one of those channels. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to click add channel, and I've got my handy dandy GHL community setup guide over here on the left screen. I'm going to be just pasting that over. Okay, so the first one that we're going to create is introduce yourself. So I'm going to paste that in. And then I like to add emojis to just make them pop in the feed. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to search for an emoji. I'm going to do the handshake emoji here. And then I'm going to create the channel. And then the next one that we're going to add is going to be ask a question. So I'm going to grab that over from my guide, and then I'm going to paste it in. And then for this one, I like to do a question emoji. So I'll come in here and I'll do a search for question, and I'll just grab this question mark emoji, and I'll create the channel. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the rest of these channels. I'll be right back, and then we'll discuss what each of these channels is good for. All right, so we've added all our channels. Now let's go through each of these one by one. So the first one here, introduce yourself. So part of our onboarding process when we set up communities is to get people to introduce themselves right off the bat, because if they introduce themselves, typically those get decent engagement, and that person's going to start gathering points towards leveling up to unlock different rewards. And then if they unlock that level 2 very quickly, that's a good activation point to actually start to train that person to become a good engage in the community. All right, so that one's just a great one to have in general for your onboarding experience. The next one here is ask a question. So this is a great way for you as the community owner to gather up common questions that your members are having. Now, once you start to see trends in the questions that people are asking, then you can actually create a piece of content on that, a post in the community, a video for YouTube, because you know that that's a common question that your audience has. And if you create a piece of content around that, then your audience is going to be interested in that. Next one here is share your wins. So in our community, when somebody shares their wins, this is probably one of the most highly engaged types of posts in our community. Plus, you as the community owner can have a whole category where you can go to and you can grab testimonials and case studies from people that are sharing their wins inside your community. So that's great for them. It's also great for you. And again, this is probably one of the most engaged posts in our community. So you're training good behavior that gets positive feedback when they make those types of posts. Next one here is share something valuable. Again, people love to feel valued. So when they make a post inside of your community that's sharing value, and then as a result, that post gets a lot of engagement, then again, that's training and giving positive feedback to that person to continue to doing that type of behavior. And then when your other community members see that when other people post and they get a bunch of comments, that's going to make them to want to do the same types of posts. Okay, so that's going to start to create some momentum and some engagement in your community. Next one is events. So if you're running events inside of your community, you want to make sure that you post about that to remind your community members that you have an event coming up. And then also you can post the replays and stuff in this category as well when you're done. And then finally, member spotlight. So this is a great way for you as the community owner to edify members inside of your community that are doing the types of behaviors that you want the rest of your community members to do. So you're really showing your members what an ideal community member looks like. Okay. So what you would do for this is you would create the post and you would pin it to the top of the feed. And usually these get also a ton of engagement. So that's a great way to just train other members in your community how to become a great community member. All right. So that's basically our channels. Go ahead and set those up and let's move on to the next step. All right. So the next thing we want to do is we want to start setting up our settings. Okay. So to do that, we're going to go on the right-hand side here underneath the cover image of your community and the description. There should be a button here that says settings. You need to be logged in as an admin of the community to be able to see this. So we're going to click on settings. And then the first one is the details that we filled out when we first set up the community. So that should all be done. So we've got our group name, we've got our custom URL, and we've got our description for our community. We've set this community to public, and then we also have accessible from switcher toggled on. So the switcher is this left-hand sidebar here. All of your communities that you're going to add to the switcher will be available here, and you can just click between all of those once they kind of fix GoHighLevel. So let me go back to the settings. So you've got all that set up. The next one is subscriptions. Right now, it's pretty limited. So you either have free or you can add one price. So let's just say that we want to do a $20 monthly. We want to make it recurring, and then we want to make it monthly. I'm going to go add price. Now, I have not set up my payment integration, so let me show you how to do that really quick if you were in the same boat. So I'm going to go back to GoHighLevel, and once I'm in GoHighLevel, I'm going to go to payments, and then I'm going to go to integrations. You can pick one of these providers. Let's just say you have Stripe. And you basically just click this button. It's going to take you through a wizard, which is going to help you to connect your Stripe account with GoHighLevel. Super easy. And then once you do that, you'll be able to set up the paid subscription here. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So this is another one of my communities. You can see that you can only have 2 different options. I'm sure they'll be adding to this later on, but right now it can either be free and then one priced subscription. Okay. So that is setting up subscriptions. Let's go back to the settings, and now let's go into branding. So this is how you're going to brand your community. Again, we already have our favicon over there, which is this little icon that's in the browser tab. We have our cover image and we have our logo. You can also add advanced settings here if you know how to do custom JavaScript or custom CSS. And if you are wanting to set up your Facebook pixel and your Google tracking codes, then this is where you're going to do that for tracking your visitors to your community, building custom audiences, those kind of things. So that's where you're going to add your tracking code for both ad platforms. So the next tab in settings is your themes. This is kind of where you would create the look and feel that you want for your community. So the first option you have here is color mode. Do you want to have in light mode, which is this kind of bright white, or you can kind of navigate around in dark mode if you prefer that. The other thing that you have available here is you have a lot of default color schemes that GoHighLevel gives you out of the box. So I can choose between this default, which is again the white, or you can do the zesty citrus, which was more like an orange feel. You can do the royal velvet, which I really like for my community because my colors are orange and purple. So you can choose one of these default options, or you can set up your own custom theme. So you can toggle on window gradient on or off, and then you can just play around with these different colors and see where they actually make edits on your community to get the look and feel that you're going for your community. So that's themes. The next setting is your membership questions. So this is the set of questions that people have to answer to request to join your community. And then you get to review those questions, the answers to those questions, to see if you want to allow that person into the community. So to do this, we've already kind of filled out these questions in our GHL community setup guide, and I'm just going to be transferring these over. Now, the cool thing about GoHighLevel is that we're already going to be collecting their email address because they had to sign up for an account. So that's already going to be pushed into the system, and you don't have to collect that on the membership questions. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding my first question. So the first question that I ask in this case is, what's the #1 challenge you're having around whatever the theme of your community is? So for me, what's the #1 challenge you're having around building a profitable coaching business? This is a great way to collect a lot of the issues and problems that people are having around whatever topic that you teach on, so that you can create more content to help them solve those problems. So that's going to be my first question. The next question I like to ask is, where did you find us? This helps us to collect information on how where our traffic sources, what's our best traffic sources. So I'm going to pop that in there. And then the last one is we like to capture the phone number so that we can potentially text message these people. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to add my next question. Let's see, this will be a text box as well. So I'm going to save that. Once we have our questions in here, we can just toggle that on. And now when people join or request to join your community, they have to answer these questions. Okay. So that is membership questions. Next up is gamification and rewards. And HighLevel just released a brand new feature that really helps them to take the lead when it comes to gamification and rewards over Skool. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But in the settings area, really all we are doing is setting up our level names. So how gamification works is when people come into your community, they can accumulate points for different activities inside the community, such as engagement. They get points for engaging in the community. You can also set up automations that give them points for completing lessons, completing courses, and those kind of things. So in the settings area, all we're going to do is we're going to name the levels. Now, we have a tool inside of Community AI called Gamifier that can help you to create or brainstorm your level names. Now, you can either attach the level names and align it with the theme of your community, which is what we do, but you don't have to do that. Use Gamifier. It'll help you to brainstorm these levels. But the levels, the early levels are going to be a little less prestigious. So for instance, for us, our first level is Ditch Digger. So this is a brand new person. They're new to the game. They're not engaging in the community. They haven't really acquired any points. So that's going to be the least prestigious. Now, our next level is going to be a little bit more prestigious, and that's going to be Apprentice. And the names get more and more prestigious until you get up to the highest level, which is level 9. And for us, that's going to be Master Builder. So that's kind of what you're thinking about when you're naming your gamification levels. So I'll fill the rest of these in. I won't bore you with that. The rewards here don't really do anything, so I wouldn't waste my time with that. So you can see that we can name a reward, we can create a description for the reward, but then it doesn't really do anything. So this feature here is kind of pointless. I'm going to be showing you the feature later that's really going to help you with the rewards part of the system. Okay, so that's gamification and rewards. Next up is links. This is where you can create little call to actions that people can click on to take them to the next step in your process. So I'm going to be setting these up a little bit later because we have to create some different content first, but essentially these are going to show up in the sidebar underneath your cover image over here and the description of your community. So we'll be adding those a little bit later, but let's move on to the next one, which is reported content. So this is where you can moderate the community content. So if members in your community report some content for spam, or maybe they're posting political views or whatever doesn't align with the rules of your community, you can come in here and you can moderate that content and you can ban users for that post content that doesn't align with your community. Next up is discovery. So this is where you can toggle on or off the ability to show up in the discovery feature of the GoCollab app. So GoCollab.com is HighLevel's answer to Skool discovery. So you can come in here and anyone that is toggled on their community to be discoverable will show up in here once they have acquired 10 members in their community. So you can come in here and you can search for different keywords like business, and it will show all of the communities that are surrounded by business. So you want to think about that with the description that you have in your community, but also potentially your title. Right now, they're just ranking these communities based on the number of members in that community. I'm sure they'll update this algorithm as things go forward and they learn different things, but that's how they're currently ranking these communities. So let me go back to Community Builder, or to the settings here. And so I like toggling this on because I believe that it can bring you extra traffic. I'm not too worried about my competitors coming in and figuring out what I'm doing. I have my personal brand, and that's a big differentiator for me. So I'm not too worried about that. So I like to turn that on. The other thing that you can do here is you can set up your custom URL that's going to live on the GoCollab.com app, so that you can drive people directly to your community inside GoCollab. So I think that's the future of GoHighLevel communities, is this app. because it's going to be one login. I'm talking to developers now, and you have all your communities in there. So I would definitely set this up personally. And that is all of our settings. Now let's move on to the next step. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to create 2 posts inside the community. So these are the same initial posts that we post in any community when we're first getting started, because it's a great way to onboard new clients, to get them engaging in the community, but also to drive them to book a call, which is one of our main goals with our free community. So we actually have templates for both of these posts inside of the GHL setup document. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab our first post here, which is our book a call post. And this is a very valuable post. It books a lot of calls for us. And I firmly believe the reason that we can book so many calls is the way that we position these calls. Okay. So I'll kind of walk through the template here so you can kind of think about it for your own community. But essentially what we do is we outline the goal of the community. So the goal here inside Community Builders is to help you get your community launched and get your first 100 members. So if anybody has that same goal, they're in the right place, and that's a good first step. Okay. Next, we really drive home the value of this call here. And I firmly believe that people would pay for this call if we actually wanted to charge for it. So first step is we're going to walk through our community setup checklist so you can get your community launched and up and running in just 10 minutes. So that's basically our GHL setup guide. We jump on the call, we give them access to that, and then we kind of walk them through it. Next thing, we're going to help you to map out your free course, aka your ultimate lead magnet, so you can start growing your members today. So one of the best ways to get people to join your community is have a very powerful lead magnet that people actually want, and then promote that with either paid ads or in organic content. So we have a proprietary way of creating lead magnets that makes it super easy. So that makes this a really valuable call. So if you can get a lead magnet done by the end of the day by jumping on this call, that's pretty powerful. Next, we actually unlock a traffic strategy training for them so that they can implement right now to get their first 100 members. So by jumping on this call, we'll unlock a traffic training that we did that will show you a very easy strategy that you can go out and do right now to drive 100 members into your community. So that is kind of how we build the value of this call. I would come down here and I would try to find an appropriate GIF. Let's see if we can do that. So I'm just going to do launch and see what comes up. So I would just grab, let's just say this one here, and then I would publish the post in the announcements area. All right, so that's our first post. Let's move on to our next one. All right, so this next post is designed to train your new members as they come into your community to start engaging in the community. So it gives them this little baby step that they can take that's very easy to start accumulating points and potentially unlock the next level inside of your community. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to grab it from our setup guide that we did before the video, and then we'll kind of walk through this. So welcome, community builder. Tell your fellow builders about yourself. Instead of commenting on this post, so we don't want to create this post and have a bunch of people commenting below, because it just builds up a lot of comments and nobody ever reads them. What we would rather do is get them to create an introduction post instead, and then answer 3 very simple questions that they don't have to think too hard about to answer. Okay, so give them those questions. You can edit the ones that are in the document and make them your own. And then you kind of want to tell them that they can start getting points and unlocking some amazing rewards by creating this post. And then tell them to be sure to mention you on the post so that you see it. You can comment, you can like the post, and they'll actually accumulate points from the engagement that you make on that post. All right, so that's kind of the post. I also want to create a title that kind of pops in the feed so they actually see it. So I'm going to type that in there, start here, and then we'll pick a GIF that's appropriate. I think this one here is perfect. And then once we do that, I actually want to change the category here, the channel here, to introduce yourself. Okay, so we're going to publish that post. And those are our 2 core posts that we want to set up inside the community. And then once we have those set up, we want to pin both of these posts, and we want to pin them in the order that we just set them up so that they are in the correct order. So I'm also going to pin this one, and you can see the Start Here course is the very first post that they're going to see. And then they're also going to see our book your free call post. Okay, so now that I have both of these posts created, I can actually go over here and I can set up the links. All right, so let me click into this post here, and we're going to grab the link to the post, and then I'm going to go to the settings area. I'm going to go to links, and then I'm going to add a link, and then I'm going to do that green color emoji again, so green, and I'm going to grab that. I'm going to say start here. And then I'm going to paste the link to that start here post. Okay. Next, we're going to go grab our other post. Let me save that. And then I'm going to grab the community launch post, grab that link, go to settings, and then we'll go to links again. I'll add a new link, make that a little phone. And let's grab that and book a one-on-one call. Paste in that link, click save, or add the link, click save. And now we have our two posts that we use to set up all of our communities, one to create engagement and one to get people to book a call. And now we also have those links inside of our banner over here on the right-hand side. All right, you're crushing it. You're making tons of progress. Let's move along and let's set up your classroom area. So this is the learning tab in GoHighLevel communities. And so my philosophy on a free community is that it is a funnel. We don't want to put a ton of courses in here that, first of all, overwhelms your members and they'll never go through it anyway. But also it gives them the feeling that they can just hang out in the free community forever and just learn everything that they need. So we want to keep this limited and we want to structure it in a way that strategically takes them down a path, creates demand and desire for your paid offers, and ascends them into those offers. So we've developed a structure for all of the community classrooms that we set up for our clients. And this is what it looks like. First of all, we have a Start Here course. This course is designed to get people engaged and train engagement, get them to set up the mobile app so that they can get the notifications from the community and also the chats that they're receiving. Also to show them how gamification works and how they can accumulate points and unlock cool rewards. And then getting them into the main core training, which is our masterclass course. Now, I have a couple of different philosophies or frameworks that I use around creating this masterclass course. I'm going to drop a video link in the description so you can check out, how I kind of think about this free course. Now, if you're just getting started and you don't have any course material created in the past that you can use, a really fast and easy way to do this is to create what I call the perfect webinar course. So this is Russell Brunson's perfect webinar framework. And we actually have a community AI tool called the Perfect Webinar Script Writer, which will help you to write this script around your topic or what you teach. Okay. So this is kind of the framework. And so if I was just starting out, I would create the MVP version of my course and I would use this framework. So that's kind of the core training piece. And then the other courses that I like to put inside of the classroom are really built around unlocking additional levels inside the community and gamifying these rewards or these courses. So we've created a pretty smart framework that I believe works really well. And when I'm creating these gamification rewards, I want to think about ways that I can provide value to my community, but also ways for me as a community owner that I can use to strategically get them to ascend into the next thing. So let's talk about the ones that we have here. So level 2 is unlock a surprise gift. So I think this is really good because you're creating a curiosity gap in your member's mind, and people as humans, we just need to fill in that blank and know what that surprise gift is. So this could be a bonus course, it could be a lead magnet, it could be a cheat sheet, whatever you want to make it. Again, I would probably try to think about what this strategic gift could be as a way to ascend them into the next thing. Okay. Next, we could do a 7-day trial to your paid community. If you have a paid community, this is a good one because they're going to find value because they can check out your community for free for 7 days and they risk-free for 7 days. You as the community owner, if you have a good onboarding experience, you have a ton of value and a very engaged community, can convert a high percentage of those 7-day trials into actual paid members. Next, level 4, I like to do private coaching call recordings. So I can take the recordings and repurpose the things that I'm doing in my paid community, put them behind one of the higher levels in the free community, and then tease those new recordings inside the free community to make people want it so that they're more likely to engage in the community so that they can unlock and access those private coaching call recordings. Next is level 5, and also they'll see those coaching call recordings and get that FOMO experience. Hey, man, that looks awesome. Wish I could attend those coaching calls and hopefully ascend into your paid community. Next, level 5, a 60-minute VIP coaching call. For them, this is going to feel like a really exclusive bonus for only people that unlock a certain level, they're going to get to spend an hour along with you getting coached. For you, this is an opportunity for you to sell them into either your paid community or your high ticket offer. So that's kind of how we are going to structure the classroom. Now let's go back to the classroom and set this stuff up. All right, we talked about the structure of the community classroom. Now let's talk about setting it up. So before we do anything, we actually have to create the courses that go inside the classroom. So to do that, we're going to go to High Level and we're going to go to memberships. We're going to click on the courses drop down and we're going to go to products. And then if you don't have any courses in here, you can actually create them from scratch by clicking this create product button. We actually installed our community snapshot earlier and it comes preloaded with all of the classroom courses that we were discussing earlier. So we've got our Start Here course. We also have our masterclass course here, and we have the different courses for the different level rewards. So once we have our courses set up, the next step is we've got to go into courses again and then click on offers, and we have to create the offers for those courses so that they show up in the classroom area of your community. So to do that, I'm going to click on create offer. I've already done this ahead of time. Actually, it comes in the snapshot that we talked about. But if I was doing this from scratch, I would say start here for the Start Here course. And then I would choose the product, the Start Here for the free community. And then I would make that free and then I would create it. But again, we've created all the offers already. So now we need to go back to the community and add the offers or the courses to the classroom. All right, so now we're back in the learning tab of your community. Let's start to add the courses that we just created to your community classroom. So to do that, I'm going to click this add course button. And this is the new feature that High Level just released that I really think helps them to take the lead over Skool when it comes to gamification, because with Skool, gamification is built all around engagement in the community. With High Level, you can actually give your members points for achieving things like finishing courses or finishing lessons in courses. So I really think this helps them to take the lead when it comes to gamification. So what this does is actually gives you the ability to control which of your members have access to the courses. So your options here are you can actually give all members access to the course. You can set up the courses that unlock at certain levels. You can set up paid courses where people can actually purchase a course inside of your free community, and just the course is you have to pay for it. Also, you can do time unlock. I think this is a really cool feature for paid communities because you could set up a course that unlocks at day 8. And all of your 7-day trial members have to continue and actually pay to unlock that next course. So let's actually set up the courses that we just created inside of the products area of High Level. And we want to start with level 5 of our gamification because we want to work backwards so that when you actually put the courses in the community, they're in the right order. So you'll see how this works in just a second. So we want to do a level unlock for this course. This is going to be our level 5 unlock. And then we're going to select the course, level 5 reward, and then we're going to add course. And then we'll work backwards, okay? All right, so that's going to add our level 5 reward course. All right, so now we're going to add our next course, which is our level 4 reward. So I'm going to go to level unlock again. I'm going to go to gamification level number 4. And then I'm going to select the level 4 reward, and then I'm going to add that course. Now we're going to do level 3 reward. So same thing, I'm going to do level unlock. Gamification level is going to be number 3. I'm going to select the level 3 reward, and then we're going to add that course. And then next is going to be level 2 reward. We're going to unlock that at level 2, and then I'm going to add that course. And you can see by doing it the way we're doing it, we are structuring the classroom in the correct order. So then we're going to add our masterclass next. This is going to be available to all members. So I'm going to do masterclass course. I'm going to add that course. And then our final course that we're going to add to the classroom is going to be our Start Here course for the free community. And then again, this is going to be accessible by all members. And now we have a beautiful classroom that is set up in the right order. So we've got our Start Here community, our free course, and then all of the level rewards in order. Now let's actually take a look at what this looks like from a user perspective. So this is what the classroom is going to look like from a user perspective. So you can see the 2 courses that we gave access to all members. And then you've got the level 2 through level 5 rewards that are going to unlock as your members accumulate more and more points and start to unlock new levels. All right, so now we're in the members tab of the community. This is where you can see the information about your members. You can see the active members here. You can see their name. You can see their description that they set up in their profile, when the last time they were active, when they joined, and also you have access to their email address. The next tab here is the admin. So these are the admins of your community. So the people that can change the settings, do all the things that an admin can do. Contributors. So these are people, I don't really know what this is, to be honest, yet. So we'll figure that out as we go. This is where you can actually moderate the requests of people trying to join your community. So you can see the answers that they gave to their membership questions, and you can either accept or reject those membership requests. Then you can see all the people that you've banned for the community for behaviors that don't align with your community. And so that is the members tab. All right, next up is the events tab. This is where we can set up our one-time or recurring events. So to do that, we're going to click on this little blue event button here. We can give it a name. So I'm just going to do new event. We can set the color, so the color that shows up in the calendar. We can set the start and the end time, the time zone. You can decide whether this is going to be a recurring event or not, and then we can set up how this recurs. We can also set the location, so we can do Zoom, we can do Google Meet, or we can do other. I'm going to do Zoom, and then I'm just going to put a placeholder here, so zoom.us. I'm going to give it a description, so we'll just do test. And then we can set up who can attend this event. So we can either let all members attend this event, we can let members at a certain level attend this event, or we can set this to members who have access to a certain course. Let's say we want to do members at level 2, so this is going to be a level 2 event. And then we can actually hide the location from all the people that are not able to attend. So anybody that's not at level 2, they won't be able to see the location link for this event, so they won't be able to access it. We can also set up a reminder for those people that can access the event, an email to email them a day before. We can set up a cover image for this event. And then once we have all that set, we'll click next. And then we can decide whether this is going to be a free event or a paid event. If you want it to be paid, you can set the price here, and then you can create the event. We're going to set this to free, so I'm going to create the event. Now, once the event is created, we can actually go to the discussion area, and you can see this little banner pops up as a reminder for your members that a new event is about to happen. So let's go back to the events tab. So now we can toggle between the calendar view or the list view, okay? We can also toggle between week or month. And then if we want to edit the event once we already have it in the system, we can click on that event, and you can either delete the event or you can click edit. And then also your members can come in here and they can choose the calendar that they want to add the event to, and they can add that event to their actual personal calendar. So that's how events work. Next up is the leaderboard, and this is tied to gamification. So each member can log in and they can see with this little icon here exactly what level they are at. Also, we can click this little eye here and we can see how the point system works. Also, we can see the points that we need to accumulate to unlock each level. And you can see as the levels go up, it gets more and more difficult to accumulate those points, and the gap becomes bigger and bigger. So that's how the point system works. Also, you can see we have all of our level names that we set up earlier when we were configuring the settings. And you can see the percentage of your members that are at each level. So this will tell you how engaged your community is, how much activity your community members are actually doing. Down here at the bottom, we've got the leaderboard for the past 7 days. So this will show you the people, the members that have accumulated the most points in the past 7 days, the past 30 days, and then all time. Also, you've got this little button here. And again, this is where you would add rewards like you did in the settings earlier, but this doesn't really do anything. I actually showed you how to set up the rewards in the classroom area, so just go by that. But that is the leaderboard, and that's how that works. Next up is the About Us page. So this is going to be the landing page that you use to convince people to join your community. So you're going to drive traffic to this page and hopefully convert those viewers into members of your community. So to do that, we need some nice copy here that needs to be under 1,000 characters, and we need a nice video sales letter. So I've created some resources to help you to create these assets. So you're going to find those inside of the GHL setup guide. First of all, we have a VSL writer inside of our community AI tool set. So you can use that to write the script for your video sales letter. We also have a tool called the Community Setup Assistant that will actually write your About Us page copy, or you can use this plug and play template for yourself. Now, I've already done this ahead of time, so I'm going to grab the copy for my About Us page and go back to the About Us page. Again, this needs to be under 1,000 characters. So I'm going to paste in my copy. I'm going to add some white space here to make it look a little bit better. And then I'm going to hit save. So now we have our copy in there. Now, if we want to add our video sales letter that we created using the AI tool, I would come in here, I would click on this, and then I can add a link from either YouTube, Vimeo, Loom, or Wistia. Or if you just wanted to upload a video, you could do that here, or you could upload images as well. And so that is going to help you to convert visitors to your landing page and get them to join your community. And that is the About Us page. All right, so you've done a lot of the heavy lifting already. We've set up the community. Now let's do a little tour of the community and show you around. So first thing that we want to talk about is the home button here. So if I click on that, that's going to take the user to their client portal. So we talked about how to set up the client portal earlier, and that is what the users are going to see when they click on the home button. So let's go back to the community. Next thing is this left-hand sidebar here. Now, if this is going to work like Skool, essentially what you can do here is you can pin your favorite communities. I think there's a certain number of communities that you can pin, and then you can easily just click on the logo and navigate to those different communities that are your favorites. Also, you have the auto switcher here. So this is going to show all the communities that you have access to, and you can easily kind of navigate between those by clicking the auto switcher. Also, you have your channels here on the left-hand side, so you can click on the different channels. You can see all the posts that are assigned to that particular channel. We've talked about all of the tabs across the top here. You have a search bar where you can search for different keywords, and that will show you all of the topics or the posts that are associated with that keyword. Also, potentially the lessons in your classroom that are associated to those keywords. Now, if we move over to the right-hand side here, we can toggle between light and dark mode by clicking this little button. We can navigate between communities, courses, and affiliates information here. You've got your notifications. So these are going to be things like new courses, new posts inside the community. You can toggle between your unread and your all notifications. Then we have the chat here. So you can search for members and start a chat with those members. You can see all of your ongoing conversations down here. And then if we click on the profile here, this is where you can manage, where the users can manage their account information. So they can edit their profile here. They can edit their account information and password. They can add all their social media accounts here. They can see all the certificates that they've acquired through your courses here. They can manage their billing and subscription, and they can see all of the groups that they have access to, and they can toggle on the chat, or they can turn it off if they'd rather not chat with anybody in that particular community. So that's kind of the tour of the community. Now let's head back over to high level and let's start to take a look at some of the other features that we have access to as community owners. Now, one of the coolest features that I think GoHighLevel Communities has over something like Skool is the ability to schedule your posts ahead of time inside the community using the social planner. So to find the social planner, you're going to go back to high level, you're going to go to marketing, and then this first tab is the social planner. Once you're there, you want to click Connect Community. You're going to find the community you want to add, and then you're going to click the Add button. Once you've done that, it's going to show you all of the channels that you can post to. So we're going to keep all of those selected, and we're going to click Get Started. Now, once you've connected your community, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go to click on the settings gear here. And then we want to go to the communities tab, and then we want to find the user that we want to be able to post from their account inside the community. So if you click on this little drop down, nothing's going to show up by default. So you actually have to search for the name. So I'm going to search for my name. I'm going to select myself as a user. Now we actually can post from this user's account inside of the community. So let's go back to the social media planner and let's actually test this out. So I'm going to click on create new post, and then I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to select the account I want to post to. So when you're doing that to a community, you just need to come in here and you can select the categories that you want to add it to or the channels you want to add it to. Let's just say this is going to be an announcement. And then I'm going to just type in test here. And then you can add images. You can help get AI to help you to write the post. You can add videos. You can add a bunch of different stuff here. You also have additional options here at the bottom. So you can have a follow-up comment. So this is going to be the first comment that shows up below the post. So you can add something there. I'm not going to do that. And then we have the advanced options of adding this particular post to a certain category or adding tags to that. Then you can have a title. That's going to be the little title at the top of your post inside the community. So I'm going to do test again. And then this is pretty cool. You can actually notify all of your members. So you can see when I check this, it adds the @everyone tag to this post. So that's going to notify everybody in your community that there's a new post. Okay, so they'll see that in their notifications. You can see down here that we're going to be posting in the Community Builders free in the announcements channel, and we're going to be posting using this user account. Now, once we have the post set up, you have different options here. You can just save it for later, or you can click this post drop down here and you can post now. That's kind of blurred out on my high level account. So you can post now, you can schedule later. So you can come in here, you can pick a date, you can pick a time and then schedule the post. You can come in here and you can send for approval. So if you're working with the team and somebody needs to review the post before they go out, you can send it to a certain contact. And then you can schedule recurring posts. So if this is going to be like a post announcing like a weekly training that you're doing, you can schedule that ahead of time. Let's go ahead and just hit post now. And then once that's done, it's going to take you to this library area, your social planner library, and you can see the status of that particular post. So usually these are pretty fast. So if I refresh, you can see that it was previously in progress and hopefully now it's going to be published. All right, so now this post is published. So if I go back to my community and I go to the discussion tab, you can see that our post just was published and it's test is the title here and then test is the description, and then we have the @everyone tag. So that is how you use the social planner to schedule your posts inside your community ahead of time. And this is really a cool feature that something like Skool doesn't have. All right, so let's take a look at some of the triggers and actions that are available to communities inside of workflows. So to do that, I'm going to click on add new trigger and I'm going to scroll down to the section that says communities. And let's talk through some of these triggers here. So the first one is group access granted. So this is when you either invite somebody to community and they're going to have instant access when they click on the link in the invite email, or they've requested to join your community and you've granted that access. So a good use case here might be you want to send all new members an email sequence that, first of all, drives them back into the community to engage in the community, also tries to book a call potentially if that's your sales mechanism, and then also drives them back into the classroom area so they can start to consume content, so you build that know, like, and trust factor. Okay, so that's a good use case for that one. Grant group access revoked. So maybe this is when you have a paid community and a member cancels their subscription and you want to remove some tags, you want to remove access to certain courses, things like that. That's a good use case for that one. Private channel access granted. So you can actually set the channels inside of your community to private, so only certain members can see the posts inside of that channel. So when you give access to a member to a private channel, you might want to send them some of the posts in that particular channel so they can check them out. Channel revoked. So maybe you want to remove some tags when a member is, stopped paying for the private channel or whatever the case may be. That might be a good use case for that one. Community group member leaderboard level change. So a great use case for this is maybe you want to tag people every time that they level up. And then also you can build a pipeline to track people as they move through the different levels. So you can pinpoint the most engaged people in your community and the people that are taking the most action. And you can reach out to those people and maybe make them a moderator in the community so that they can help drive engagement and it's not just you all the time. So that's a great use case for that one. Now let's move on to the actions. So I'm going to click on the plus here. That's going to bring up the actions pane. We're going to scroll down all the way to the community section. Now I won't go over these four. They're kind of like the triggers that we just showed you. The two I want to focus on are the smart push notification and the grant community group leaderboard points. I really like both of these, so let's talk about them. So smart push notification. Send push notifications to client portal mobile app and browser based on triggers for real-time engagement. So a couple of use cases here is maybe you have a webinar sales presentation that you're going to pitch an offer at the very end of it, and you want as many people attending that webinar as possible. So you can you can combine these smart push notifications to your members with text and email, so you can get this message in front of as many people as possible, hopefully get more people on those webinars, and then close them into your offer. Another one is maybe you're just running an offer with a deadline and you want to get that message in front of as many people as possible so that you can convert as many people as possible. So that's a great use case. I think these are super valuable. So let's take a look at the next one, which is, let me scroll all the way down here, and the Grant Community Group Leaderboard points. Now this one's super cool. So one of the limitations that Skool's gamification has is that all the points that the members get is tied to engagement. So it's only engagement. It's not about consuming content or taking active actions that are going to help you convert people. It's only engagement. So High Level has a leg up here because you can actually come in here and we can give as many points as we want. And this is the action. So we're going to give points on the leaderboard for whatever we want them to, whatever triggers we want to use. So for instance, if I go down here to courses, we could do lessons completed. So individual lessons. We could do also products completed. So if they complete an entire course, we can give them even more points. So there's a lot of flexibility here with your gamification by using this action here. So those are the workflow triggers and actions that are available for community members or communities. So that wraps up our ultimate tutorial for Go High Level communities. Be sure to subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. And also I'll drop all of those resources mentioned in the video in the description below, and we'll see you next time.